Well, this was the picture in our part of Texas this evening. And we're starting at 7 p.m. tonight. Things are going to be a little bit erratic on Sundays because of some other obligations. And when I'm done with that, I got to get working on my book and programming, so I need to kind of have the broadcasting stuff out of the way. So here we go, 7 o'clock. What's going on for today? Well, you can see there's a lot of scud cloud from this morning's rain that we had here. Had some stuff again overnight. That's cleared on off, and we're left with a lot of post-frontal, humid, residual moist air across our area of Texas. The front that we had pass through yesterday is all the way down to the coast. It's probably about all the way down here. So pretty much we're under high pressure across much of the southern U.S. Front is even cleared New Orleans there. But you can see south of the boundary here off the Gulf Coast, we're looking at 88 degrees there with humidity, with dew points of 77, 75. So that's some very moist air on tap out to the south. Yeah, I wanted to show you one thing. You see this station here called HQI. I don't know what the name of the station is. It's probably some oil platform, but I was looking at the temperatures out there last night, and this is the meter observations. This is the raw stuff that's transmitted by that oil platform. So we're going backwards in time here. And you can see that they got up to a high of 86 degrees. Again, this is well south of the front. They were up to 86 with fair skies, dew points of about 75. And you can see as the evening wore on, the temperatures by midnight were only down to about 86. And then at 6 in the morning, let's see, we're 6 in the morning, that'd be about right around here. So they touched briefly 84 degrees Fahrenheit, but right back up to 86. So you can see how warm that air is offshore with the high sea surface temperatures. Probably pretty brutal if you're out there working on the rigs. But not all of the southern U.S. was hot. You can see north of that front, we had 40s and 50s for lows up in Kansas and Nebraska. Even up in Wisconsin, 57, and all the way down to the 40s, low 40s in Manitoba. So you can see that all the way up there. Nothing quite below freezing yet, but still that's a little bit of taste of the upcoming fall. The Weather Service warnings, excuse me, I keep losing my voice here. Got the usual flood warnings. Still looks a lot like yesterday, except that the heat has moved a little bit inland into the Pacific Northwest. So basically from, looks like east of the Cascades all the way to the Rockies, the northern Rockies. So what does that picture look like for today? Well, definitely an improvement. We were saying, remember, 95 to 97 at Portland. They're down to 80. Seattle is down a good 20 or 25 degrees, so a definite change there. And we have to go well inland to find the 90s. This is a little bit more normal, what we would find in the Snake River Basin. So a little bit of a relief from that hot weather. In the Midwest, looks like a very nice Sunday. 70s, low dew points. You can see the high pressure. See the anticyclonic flow around the high pressure. So the high pressure is just off to the south, somewhere in Iowa or Missouri. Then going a little bit eastward, we catch up with that front, and that's somewhere in this area right here. So behind that, we can see the westerly winds blowing in from the Great Lakes, and ahead of that, we've got southerly flow from the Atlantic. And temperatures here, they're up to the low 80s, but you can see this morning we had a low there of 76 there at JFK Airport, so that was probably brutal for people in New York City. Definitely warmer in the city there, and the buildings, they radiate a lot of heat, so if you don't have air conditioning there, that was probably a bad night last night. But we do have storms moving through the area, so definite change here. This is continuing on into New Hampshire and Massachusetts, Connecticut right there. So that's bringing a little bit of relief into the northeast right there. And then our observations look like that. 60s coming in upstate New York, 70s in Pennsylvania. And we're going to get rid of this warmer air that's hanging on in Connecticut and Rhode Island and Massachusetts. So just a quick look ahead of what's coming up for the upcoming week. Let me move the window here. This is the GFS. We're starting out this evening, and you can see that we have one large wave across the Midwest, another one off the Pacific Northwest. So we're in between near this ridge here. Here in Texas where we're at, we're just downstream from that ridge. So we're looking at this pattern just kind of progressing eastward. A lot of waves, very low wavelength. That'll keep that kicking on off to the west. Then by Tuesday and Wednesday, we're looking at another trough approaching Texas, but we've got the subtropical high over the Mississippi area. That's going to keep things kind of warm. We're probably going to see a lot of 90s in Texas again, maybe a little maybe things kind of moderating a little bit, get rid of some of this rain. And then by next week, we should see things changing a little bit. You see this faster flow picking up off the Gulf here, 30 knots. This is significant, so this is probably going to be associated with maybe a sea breeze coming inland. See, we're at about Wednesday to Thursday, so this may drive some showers inland. And then we're seeing this next jet stream approaching. Well, it looks like it stays pretty well to the north of Texas, mostly a factor in the western U.S., and then getting out towards September 1st, they bring a piece of that into the central U.S., pretty strong there. And then the precipitable water, that's a really big thing this time of year. Looks like a respite here for Texas. We have the next shot of very high moisture coming together off the Florida coast that comes through the Gulf of Mexico during the week, and that reaches Texas around Friday or Saturday. So probably that whole last part of next week is going to have a risk of rain for most of Texas, so we'll watch that. And then things kind of moderate after that, and then after that it gets kind of indeterminate, but you can see a couple of tropical storm type circulations out there. This is the NHC forecast over the next 5 days, and they've got Fiona out in this area. That's going to be out of the picture shortly, and then we're looking at these two disturbances, these easterly waves moving westward. Doesn't look like those will be a factor in the Gulf of Mexico, but definitely off the east coast of Florida probably by the weekend, so we'll watch that right there. Anyway, that's all I've got for you. That's our abbreviated Sunday forecast, and we should be back to you at the normal hours tomorrow. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.